Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday show. I'm Trucker Todd, and this is Tuesday Trucker Talk. We've got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. I'm not going to waste any time. We'll jump right in. I'll get to your comments just as quickly as I can. Before we do, let's give a shout out to the Gorilla Gang, those that are channel members, things like that, and then we'll talk about what to do if you want to become one. Well, let's go ahead and do that part first. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, right below your screen there, it'll say join. Click on that, and there's 2 tier options. Check both of those out, and also click on the title of the video while you're down there, and it'll drop down a description, what they call a description, and there's a lot of other great information there. But without any further ado, let's say hello to the channel members. Let's start with the very first one, Ramon. And then we've got Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, Randy's Road Life, a trucker named Tim, Smaller Holler, Oaser DM, Roger Berry, Armando Perez, No Fear, Ryan Peterson, Delphi Money Click. I still hadn't figured that one out. Racing Ray 28, Lance Calhoun, Bobby, RGB, Gary Cook, My Name is Nobody, Trucker Dan, Tattooed Trucker, KC, round out the top. We've got 23 there now, and we're glad to have all of you here. All right, let's talk about this week for a second. Normally we reserve that for Thursday when we do In Case You Missed It. But man, it's just been a week. Any of you that's talked to me in the past week know that I've been kind of down. Normally, I'm very optimistic. I didn't realize how optimistic I was, and a lot of people comment about what an optimist I am and how I always try to look at things positively. But it's been tough to do. The rates are definitely down. Fuel is definitely on the rise. I paid like $3.55 a gallon yesterday, and prior to that, I was in the 320s, even some cases under $3 a gallon. So costs are going up, revenue's going down, and it's really discouraging. And I tried to think about how I was going to explain this all day. If I were to show you my take-home revenue, or maybe not take-home, what goes in the bank, deposits, show you a bank statement, and at the top where it shows deposits, if I were to show you that, you would think, wow, Trucker Todd is really successful. If I were to show you the ending balance after everything comes out, you would say, wow, Trucker Todd's not doing that great. And so it's nothing against SRO. It wouldn't be anyway. I pick my own loads. I negotiate my own rates. But man, sometimes when you're looking on the load boards and you know, you're trying to find that load, it's really frustrating. And I think we all go through this at some point where we just say, hey, is it worth it anymore? And I'm not going to get on here and preach to you, I could go flip hamburgers and make this kind of money. I don't feel that way, but there's a lot of expenses that we incur as independent contractors, as owner operators, that people in a traditional job don't incur. For example, I have a tablet in here that runs my ELD. That tablet has to have data. There's a monthly charge associated with that. I've got a special phone for brokers because of all their tracking apps and all their calls and stuff. You kind of have to have that, or it just overwhelms your phone with all the tracking apps and is constantly killing your batteries. And if I did work a regular job in a factory or something like that, I wouldn't have those expenses. So that's not even counting, truck maintenance and all the taxes we pay and all of that. So it's sometimes you just wake up and you think, man, is it worth it? Would I be better off if I just closed the YouTube channel and went and got a regular traditional job? And obviously, I'm not planning on doing that. I think we all go through days like that. But one thing that really got me this week, and then I'll get to, I see we've got some more stuff here we need to discuss. But one thing that got me this week is there's a load from East Texas to Lubbock that I've pulled a few times. It usually pays between $900 and $1,100. Well, I got on there, and to my shock, it was at somebody had bid $4,000 on it, and I thought, man, I'll try to get that load. So I bid 3,800 on it. A couple of hundred less. Somebody come in behind me and bid $1,200. Now this is what's killing trucking. It's not that rates are low; it's that drivers are driving them low. That guy, if he'd have come in bid 3,500, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Um, he beat me. I could decide, do I want to do it for less than 3,500, which I would have. I'd have gone down because, like I said, I'd normally pull that load for $900 to $1,100. But to go from 3,600 down to 1,200 to a third, that's why rates are low. Because guess what's going to happen next time? The next time I call that broker and say, hey, how about this load? They're going to say, well, the last guy did it for $1,200. So I've already lost a lot of my negotiating ability. And I'm not going to blame one segment of the trucking population or anything like that. But I'm just going to say that guys that don't know what they're doing are really, really hurting the market right now. And I'll be the first to admit my bid was way high. I based my bid on the other guy's bid, but doing it for a third of what we were at it does not benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit that driver that got the bid. Well, I guess it does. He still made a profit and got it for more than the 9 to 1,100 we normally get. But there was so much more meat left on the table that could have been devoured. And there's several of these brokerage companies, and I'll give you a hint. Most of them have initials involved. They're acronyms. It's a race to the bottom. They put a ridiculously low starting price on there, and then guys start with a fairly reasonable bid. And by the time they get done cutting each other's throats, you're hauling it at a loss. I was looking at loads that the little calculator on there would say I'd lose 150, 750, and work several days. How many of you like working several days and paying to do it? None of us. Those of you that are dispatched, how many of you's dispatchers work for free a couple of days a week? And on top of that, how many of them pay to work? None of them. They all get a paycheck. But yet, as truck drivers, we're expected to work for free, work at a loss. Now, the other day, I called Scott, and I was talking to Scott about it. And Scott was the voice of wisdom for the week. He said, hey, Todd, I get your frustration. I see it too, but he said, February and January are always bad, and it gets better in March. You just got to hang on a couple more weeks. And while part of my mind agrees with that and sees the logic in that and knows he's right, part of me thinks, well, COVID's kind of changed everything. There's no guarantees. And is it going to get slightly better or a lot better? I think most of us agree at best it'll get slightly better. But man, another thing, I had an RE Garrison, and maybe I came real close to taking the video clip of it and sending it to his company. I'm going down the highway, I'm passing him, and he just swerves over in front of me. I mean, to the point I had to lock my brakes up to keep from getting hit. Don't think he ever saw me. Don't think he ever checked his mirrors. And no, never waved. something. What happened is there was. Sorry about that. I had a call coming in and it killed my signal. I got it on do not disturb, but they still got through. Anyway, looked like there was a car getting on the get on ramp and he was distracted and wasn't paying attention. He looked up and saw that car and panicked and swerved over. Never looked in his mirrors, nothing like that. And so, man, that was kind of scary. That's why all of us should have a dash cam because there's a lot of weirdos out there doing dumb things. All right, we got some stuff we got to get to in here. First things first, it looks like Skyhook became a channel member again, so that's good. Thank you for being a channel member, sir. We appreciate it. Very first in here today was, and then we have channel member Gary Cook. Says, hello, everyone. Tonight I'll be listening in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'll be delivering here in the morning. Yeah, I'm in Longview, Texas, and I'll be delivering in the morning as well. And so I'm already at the facility, and they've got an area for trucks to park. I'd been here before and knew that, so I came here and parked and got set up here. Another thing I wanted to announce while I'm here, I am planning to go to Matt's this year. So um, obviously things could change if there's a major breakdown or something like that. But the plan at this point is for me to be there. And I got to sit down and register. I may do that tonight after the show or something. I've got a guy going with me that is going to help me with the camera and some things like that. But any of you that are wanting to see me there, hang out there with me. Just email me at todd@truckertodd.net, and we'll get it put together where we can hang out. Roger Berry, channel member. Hello, everyone, listening from Kernersville, North Carolina. Glad to have you, sir. Robbie Ross, channel member. Hiya, friends from Binghamton. Big, I can't say that word. You can, Bighampton, big, I ain't even going to try. Anyway, glad you're here, sir. Channel member Roger Berry. Everyone staying busy. Well, that's the funny thing. I am staying busy, but I mean, my numbers are down. I'm not making what I was making, and I'm spending a lot more time on the phone and looking at load boards, trying to find that one good load or something like that. And for example, I don't have nothing for tomorrow when I get empty. This load delivers at 8 in the morning. I'll probably be out of here by 10:30, and I've got nothing. So tonight and tomorrow morning while they're unloading me, I'll be combing the load boards and trying to find something that's decent. Josh McLean says he's in Lake City, Florida watching. I was just there probably a week or two ago. Robbie Ross, channel member. Yes, sir, to Roger. So that's Robbie Ross saying he's staying busy. Corey Oatley, channel member. Hello from Birmingham. I was in Birmingham yesterday. Passed through, or last night, passed through there, I guess you'd say. Spent the night in Jackson, Mississippi at the Petro. The other truckers coach, RCTRST. Good evening, all. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being here. And Scott Hook Trucker says he's here from Richfield, Ohio. Glad to have you, sir. Roger Berry, channel member Skyhook. Thanks for the tugger. It is nice and very well made. I appreciate you, sir. Yeah, so man, I wasn't very prepared for this. Let me see if I can get a few of them down and show you. We've got the Trucker Todd tuggers, and give me just a second, folks. I wasn't prepared. Oh, dang it. These are just some examples, and he has a lot more. He can custom make stuff. They're very well made. I don't like showing them in videos because they don't show as well as what they do in person. When I got them, I was just blown away with how nice they were. What am I sitting on? But here's some examples of what they look like. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing all this up, there's a new email created for these. And if you want more information on these, I've put that email in the ticker at the bottom of your screen that's scrolling across. Basically, it's TT for Trucker Todd dot Tuggers, Tuggers, at gmail.com. You can do it in all little letters. And so this is like an example of one. They're very nice. He can also, these are designed to be, the reason we call them tuggers, they're designed to be on your air horn, but he actually made one for my wife that she uses as a keychain. He changed out this deal on the end and made it where she could attach her keys to it. And she really loves hers. Matter of fact, everybody that's bought one of these so far has really, really liked them. So if you get a chance, shoot an email over there and tell him what you're kind of looking for and see if he can. This is a shorter one. He's got some new styles coming out. He's got a different pattern, and he can send you pictures and stuff through that email and kind of show you what's available. He's got tons of colors. I hope this is coming through good. Different colored, I guess those are called D-rings, but all kinds of stuff available. Some more flashy colors if you're a flamboyant kind of person. Let's see here. Here's one. It almost looks red on camera or burnt orange, but it's kind of a neat color. This is the kind of hook mine has on it. He's able to put letters in there. Mine says Trucker Todd. It's pretty cool. And let's see. I got a couple more that I can show you readily available. This one looks really neat. It's kind of a red and gray. I don't know how well it shows up because these Freightliners are kind of dark, but this is really nice. Kind of a red and black Texas Tech type deal for Lubbock. So they're pretty neat, and I don't want to spend the whole show talking about it, but if y'all are interested in that, tt.tuggers@gmail.com. And he'll, like I said, they're really, really nice. All right, let's see what we got here. We got Skyhook Trucker saying hi from Richfield, Ohio. He is a channel member, but I think it did that before he resubscribed. Got RGB channel member saying hey and waving to everybody. So Roger Berry was thanking Skyhook for the tuggers we just talked about. Skyhook's reply was no problem. Roger Berry, glad you like it. If you have any problems with it, just let me know and tell all your friends that I have a Trucker Todd tugger. They may want one also. Thanks again, Roger Berry. Yeah, important thing to remember, Skyhook doesn't have a website for these. He doesn't have a YouTube channel. So word of mouth is how the word about these gets out. So if you can tell your friends or show your friends or buy them as a gift for a friend, things like that, it's a big help. I don't know about you guys, but I always try to support small businesses, especially restaurants and stuff. If I see a small restaurant or a big chain there, I'm likely to eat at the small restaurant to help them out, the small convenience store, that type of thing. And same thing here. This is just a small business, it's kind of a side hustle for him. So anything you can do to promote it, help him out, is greatly appreciated. He's a good guy, and we definitely want to help out the good guys every chance we get. Speaking of good guys, channel member Roger Berry says, hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, please do. That helps more than you know. Sharing the video, subscribing. Had a guy this week that it took his subscription off. I don't think he believed me that YouTube really does that, but they'll just randomly pull people's subscription and they'll wonder why they're not getting notifications for videos anymore. So make sure you are subscribed. It does help me out, but it also reminds you when videos are out and stuff in case you get busy with your life and forget. And Russell Freight Services says, "Hey, Todd. Hey, Russell. Thank you for being here, my friend." And channel member Roger Berry, is there anything worse than doing laundry on the road? Um, you know, there's a few things about it. It's a little better than it used to be because now most of them take debit cards. But in the old days, you used to have to either get money off your fuel card or pull cash out of your bank at an ATM. Then you'd go up to the fuel desk and you'd say, "Hey, I need $10 worth of quarters or $5 worth of quarters." And they'd say, "Oh, we don't have any quarters." And so it was a big hassle trying to do your laundry. Now they got it where you can put the cards, so it's a little better, but it's ridiculously overpriced, almost twice what it cost at a normal laundromat. Um, Typically, there's somebody that leaves their clothes in there and don't take them out. And I'm not real comfortable taking people's clothes out and throwing them on a table. I'm not going to say I've never done it, but I try to sit there and wait and be as patient as I can. They'll go in the theater room and watch a movie and just leave their clothes there. They don't care about nobody but themselves. And or they'll go sit in the restaurant. Now that's got a little bit better because all the restaurants are going away and it's just fast food now at the truck stops. I've gone to 2 Petros this week that still had the iron skillet sign outside, and I thought, oh man, iron skillet sounds kind of good. And I go in there and they go, "Oh, we closed the iron skillet 2 years ago." Well, why didn't you take your sign down? But yeah, I'd try my best to make it home for laundry. A few times a year I'll have to do it on the road, but not very often. Russell Freight Services, no, sometimes I have to do laundry on the road. Yeah, I think one of two things happens. Either everybody at some point has to do laundry on the road, or they're just not changing their clothes. And I'm sure there's a little bit of both going on. Same thing with showers. I've heard guys say they don't like using public showers. Well, unless you're home every day or every other day, at some point you're going to have to take a public shower. Or I guess you could rent a hotel, but that's still kind of a public shower. Roger Berry, channel member, I've been out 6 days, got 3 more to go. I really, well, the rest of it didn't come through. We'll see what Roger Berry says here in a minute. Skyhook Trucker says, yes, Roger, not doing laundry, LOL. Adam's here, says, he's here, just got off work last week of shop work. Well, good deal. You'll be back to doing the fun stuff you enjoy again. Russell Freight Services had to deal with the lady at the Love's truck stop in Fargo. She had a bad attitude. There's a there's a bunch of that. I don't know. I don't know why the truck stops put up with it. Um, you know, you go in there and you buy a tank of fuel. That's several $100s. You go inside the truck stop and spend a few dollars. You'd think the least thing they could do is treat you like a appreciated human being. But man, some of them, they're something else. And it doesn't do any good to get a manager and complain. They don't care. It's just like, give us your money and get out. Russell Freight Services, all she wanted to do is stand around and do nothing. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of that right now. Um, and I forgot to mention that earlier in the show too. But my wife and I were talking about the other day how some people at her work, They just do the bare minimum they can to get by. Nothing extra. They don't try to excel. They're just happy to be mediocre. And, I was complaining about trucking right now and the way things are. My wife had cancer appointments this week, and no, there's not a recurrence of cancer, but she's got some new health concerns. It looks like she's going to have to take a medication twice a year that's about $2,000 each time. And so I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be driving a truck. But yeah, we've had a lot on our plate this week. Deontay Butler checking in. Glad to have you here, sir. Long time no see. Ted Van Buskirk. Hello, sir. Glad to see you. Hope all is well. I'm hanging in there, man. Clown College, 6 o'clock, says, what's the benefits of being a channel member? Well, there's actually several. You get the icon next to your name when you comment that changes over time the longer you're a member. You get a shout out at the start of the show. I do exclusive content a few times a month, and you get those videos a few days before everybody else does. That's on the lower tier. It's about $5 a month. And then there's a higher tier that you can track me across the country, see where I'm going, and possibly run into me, things like that, meet other channel members. And so there are some benefits there, and something you should consider doing at some point. Logic Neo says, welcome all. Hey, Logic, thank you for being here. P.U. Patel, hello, Trucker Todd. Hello, sir. Thank you for coming in. Gary Cook, channel member, I'm in the same financial situation as you are. Yeah, the scary thing is for everybody right now is almost all of us, whether you're a company driver or an independent contractor, is we're all one major breakdown away from being done. And I mean, I don't see any other way around it. And it's not the repair itself. I've tried to explain this on the Kenworth. It's not the $5,000 repair that gets you. It's the over 3 weeks off work that gets you, because things don't go away. Rent doesn't go away. Car payments don't go away. House payments don't go away. Utilities don't go away. Cell phones don't go away. But now you've got to pay this $5,000 repair bill on top of everything else. And the cynical me would say, well, you should save, you should prepare. But in this market, it's a real struggle to save. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but the rates are tough right now. And I was doing good for a few weeks. This last week or so has been really, really, really bad for me anyway. Now, you can find YouTubers that are doing well, but a lot of them are pulling reefer or flatbed. I'm talking specifically about dry van. And you can critique where I go. You can say, well, Todd, if you ran the Northeast, you might make more money. You might, but then you've got all the added overhead up there, the increased fuel prices, the increased parking prices, and all of that. So I think it kind of offsets the toll roads and everything to where you're not really making any more running up there that much. It's probably foreigners taking these cheap loads. Well, I think here's another thing that happens. You get on these load boards, and all of them seem to be the ones that have a preset right there that you can't negotiate. They seem to be just under $2 a mile, like across the board. Like they figured out this is what a driver will take, this is what a driver will accept, and you say, well, I can still make money at $1.85, $1.90 a mile. Maybe you can, but then keep in mind you got to give 20 or 25% of that to your company, whatever arrangement you're in. Apply your numbers, and you need to set aside several $100s a week for maintenance, depending on the age of your truck and things like that. And then you got all these other expenses coming out. Prepass just hits you whenever they want you to. They make you set up a savings account, and whenever your savings account is 50% depleted, they hit you again. Oh, and then they hit you again on the first of the month if there's anything on there to square it away. So it's a constant grind, and I don't know why guys are doing it. I can show you right now, and I may do it in a minute. There, I can pull up a load board, and there's loads on there for 73 cents a mile, 87 cents a mile. And why are they on there at that rate? Because there's some moron out here that's willing to hire to haul it at that rate. And the brokers that I was telling you about that have initials, and there's several of them, they'll put a rate on there like $600, $612 is one I remember. And then they'll say bid if you want more than that. And these guys will cut each other's throat down to where they'll end up at 650. So JB Hunt or whoever the broker is will go up 30 or $40 when they would have went up hundreds if people knew how to negotiate, or TQL or whoever it is. PU Patel, maybe you just need a break from trucking, Trucker Todd. Maybe, man. I take quite a bit of time off. That's not necessarily the problem. Um, I can go home anytime I want and stay as long as I want, but it's just, man, it's been a grind for a while now, and I'm ready to see sunnier days for sure. But I don't know that a couple of days off would fix the rates, or a couple of days off would improve people's driving skills out here, like R.E. Garrison cutting me off today, or anything like that. So, but yeah, that was my first thought today too. Maybe I'm just burnt out. Maybe I just need a couple of days off. Um, but the eternal optimist in me is always thinking, well, next month's going to be better. March will be better. February will be better, and it kind of ebbs and flows. It gets a little better, and then it goes back down. And maybe that's trucking, and maybe that's the way it's always been. But it's just hitting me a little harder right now than it ever has before. And I'll be okay. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere. We got that medical news about my wife today, and so I'll be doing this for as long as I'm physically able to. As long as I can get a medical card every year, I'll be driving. Skyline says, hello, just stopping by real quick. I'm very busy. Just drove from Paris, California to Loveland, Colorado. They keep rolling always. Well, that's good, man. I'm in Loveland now. I don't know where I'm going next. I'll make this delivery in the morning, then we'll see what I can find. Gary Cook, channel member. I'm reloading in Statesville, North Carolina, heading to Cedar Hills, Texas. That delivers on Friday. Drop and hook when I get there. That was channel member Gary. That sounds like a great load. I would love that. Red Raider reloading, channel member. That sounded bad. Todd, the Trucker Todd Tuggers. Oh yeah. There's it's let me see what I can say on here. It's when stuff like this gets set up, you try to give it a memorable name so that people can remember it. What's that cool thing on Trucker Todd's show? Oh, it's the Trucker Todd Tugger. I get it. So the other truckers coach, RCTRST. Why so many emails? Well, I have 10, but they're each for different things. But as far as the show goes, I'm only aware of 3. There's Todd at truckertodd.net if you want to contact me. There's Safety at SRO Logistics if you've got a truck and you want to talk to Scott about driving opportunities. And then there's tt.tuggers@gmail.com if you're interested in a Trucker Todd Tugger. So I wouldn't call 3 emails excessive, but it's just to kind of streamline things and get people to the people they need to talk to quickly, instead of people contacting me for everything and then I've got to divert them to where they need to go. It's just to try to make things as efficient as possible for everybody. And Skyline says 28 watching, only 13 hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Yes, please do that. I don't know why the crowds are kind of dying down lately too, but they'll come back. Everything kind of goes like a roller coaster, up and down. Robbie Ross, channel member. I'm a proud customer of a Tugger. The whole process was painless. Um, yeah, you never know. In the future, we may introduce pain as part of the deal. But for now, we've got it pretty painless. And same thing. If you go to my website, truckertodd.net, click there, but it's to get you to the right place. If you want to get the solar powered headset, there's a link for that. You want to get the Mudflap discount, there's a link for that. You want to get the ES Advantage fuel card, there's a link for that. Rather than having everybody email me for everything and me forward your email to where it needs to go, we just try to simplify and streamline everything to make it as painless as we can for everybody. Gary Cook, channel member. I bring enough clothes with me for 3 weeks. Then when I go home, I wash at home. That's the best way to do it if you can. Right there is do it like that. The hardest part for me, and I've got way too many shirts on here right now. I got like 4 or 5 pairs of pants, and I got like a ton of shirts, and then a ridiculous amount of socks and underwear. I change socks and underwear twice a day. Well, I guess socks once a day. When I wake up in the morning and then right before I go to bed. Um, Hygiene, especially when you're a bigger guy, is very, very important. I've got wipes in here to kind of give myself a sponge bath on the truck, and but I try to get a shower either every day or every other day. Don't always make it. That's where the wipes come in. Just kind of give yourself a wipe down, put on deodorant, aftershave, cologne. Try to stay as clean smelling and as presentable as you can. Channel member Gary Cook, I shower every other day. That's a good way to do it if you're able to. Eddie Moon, evening Todd, evening sir. Thank you for being here. Roger Berry, channel member. Sorry, I thought it came through. I had a free night, figured I would wash me and some laundry. Well, there you go. Laundry, I bring 20 button-up shirts, socks, underwear, t-shirts, and 10 slacks. Since I'm only out 14 to 18 days, that's good. Yeah, that is good. That's real good. We got YouTube royalty here. Cassius King says, hey now. I don't know if he's still here or not. He got a new truck. He no longer has the Freightliner. He got him a Peterbilt 579. I was just wondering how it's doing. He may have mentioned it in his show. I haven't caught those videos, and I was just kind of wondering. He did get the PACCAR engine like my KW had. I had no problems with that engine, and I just been kind of watching, waiting to hear how he's doing with that truck. Then we got Roger Berry, channel member Cassius King, the YouTube royalty. Yeah, and he's just a good dude. I've never talked to him on the phone, but he's been really nice to me on his show. Him and DIY Semi have been very supportive of me, and I appreciate them both. Hopefully they'll go to Matt's or something this year and I can actually meet them. Roger Berry, channel member. The pilots and others like them just want your money and your company's money, and you get the heck out of there. Yeah, and here's another thing. You notice they're not calling themselves truck stops anymore. They're calling themselves travel centers. And suddenly, truck drivers are the excess business. They're more interested in the tourist, the RVer, the things like that. I've got theories why that is. Maybe the tourists, the RVers, aren't leaving poop bags in the parking lot or throwing their trash everywhere or peeing in the parking lot, or maybe that has something to do with it. Um, Maybe they're not working on their equipment in the parking lot and making a mess, spilling oil everywhere and things like that. Um, I don't know what the reason is. I think it's probably some things like that. Maybe the average RVer spends more at the store than what the average truck driver is. But you guys that have been at this a while, you remember when truck stops used to have rows and rows of trucking supplies, lights and wiring harness, not the wiring harnesses like for the engine, but like for light socket wiring harnesses and things like that. Now that stuff's gone. Fuel filters used to be in there. Now it's rare that they have them in the truck stop. Sometimes if it's a TA or a Petro or a Love's, you can buy them out in the shop, but half the time they're out of stock too. And so it just seems like they don't want uh, trucks are like the stepchildren from the ex-wife that come around still, and it's kind of an uncomfortable deal, and they don't really want them there, but here they are, and so it's a shame. I still love it when I can find a small mom and pop truck stop, but those are getting harder and harder to find too. Petro Center's profit. Question for all: how much do you think a TA Petro makes perfect sense gallon in profit on fuel, diesel, and gas? I don't know the exact number, but I would guess 50 to 60 cents a gallon. And I base that on a lot of times uh, you look across the street and there'll be a truck stop that'll be 30 to 60 cents cheaper than the TA. So I imagine with them buying in bulk, they probably have a 50 to 60 cent markup. Russell Freight, I'm going to a second income. I'm going to get it to the self storage business on top of trucking. There you go. It's always good to diversify. One of the books I read said that the average millionaire has 5 to 7 streams of income. And so the more you can diversify and the more you can get in different things, the better your chances of success are. So that sounds like a wise move, Russell. I hope it works for you, man. Unfortunately, I ran the East Coast in January and I got hit with a $1,500 toll bill. That hurt. That was the Gary Cook channel member. Yeah. And, a lot of times guys don't realize how much it's going to be. You think, oh, it's $20 here, it's $30 there. And then you get that bill and you're like, oh boy, what did I do? Channel member Lance Calhoun is doing well here at Landstar. That's good, man. I just heard about a guy this morning that was at Landstar for a year and a half, and he was going away from it. But I said all that to say nothing because that's every company right now. It's there's some that are making it and some that aren't. A paid off truck is a big advantage, and the less personal debt you have at home is a big advantage. Midlife trucker channel member talking about rates. Did you ever consider these people with paid off trucks are taking loads with low rates, not to make a profit, but just to cover costs until the capacity goes down, outlast the competition? Yeah, there's always that possibility. The problem with that is typically the guy that has the paid off truck, it's an older truck, so his maintenance costs go up and he still needs to be putting back for maintenance. I would argue you need to put back more when your truck's paid off. And so they still need to turn a profit. And I get it, man. If we're at 3,500, 3,800, you want to go down to 3,000, your truck's paid off. I get it. But to cut it in a third and go down to 1,200 bucks, it it doesn't make sense. The I took DECA in high school, which is a business marketing class. It's how I learned a lot about business. And the object of a business, any business, is to turn a profit. And some of these guys aren't turning profits. I think they're still in the company driver mentality of I got to keep the wheels turning. So it doesn't matter what my rate is as long as my truck's moving. And I I think it's going to catch up with them at some point. I think it's already catching up with them. I think that's why we're seeing so many trucking companies go out of business right now. Gary Cook, channel member, the spot market really stinks right now. That's the reason that I've been doing the USA power only for now. Well, that's what I say. I'm still getting decent rates, but it's really discouraging how hard I'm having to work to find the loads, and seeing drivers just butcher the market by not knowing uh, how to negotiate and things like that. Even this Gary Cook channel member again, even though I hate the East Coast, I'll run anywhere if the rate's right, but I just you have to be really mindful of all the added expense you have when you enter the Northeast. Channel member Robbie Ross, did you listen to today's message? Talked about doing power only loads for Target. No, I didn't listen to his message today. He also talked about putting some loads. This was a week or two ago on the spot market. If he puts some of his loads on the spot market, I might be interested in those. I need to reach out to their logistics group and see if they have their own load board or where they post their stuff. Gary Cook, channel member of the Trucker Todd Triggers group. The Triggers group, that sounds like devices that I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube that look like this and go bang bang. The Triggers group. Grafton says, "Good hat, thank you. This is the Case IH hat. Those that don't know, for most of my childhood, my dad was a cotton farmer. We also grew wheat and sunflowers and some other things, but mostly cotton. He loved international tractors. I guess he still does. And so I delivered a load the other day of sorghum, and one of the guys working there recognized me. He said, "Aren't you on YouTube?" I said, "Yeah." And we got to talking. Real nice guy. He says, "You want a hat? I got a bunch of hats in here." And I went in there and looked at them, and I said, "Can I have that Case International hat?" And he's like, "Sure." So a bunch of great guys over there. Had a good time there. Huh. Gary Cook, channel member of the Trucker Todd Tugger group. There you go. Well, here's the deal. Here's where the show goes off the rail. I get in trouble. Many of you said that your wives like to go to sleep listening to me. Your wives like to go to sleep with me. How many of you have always wanted to tug Trucker Todd? Now we've got Trucker Todd tuggers. So yeah, each time you give that air horn a tug, you can think of me. Channel member Ramon says he's here. Glad to have you, sir. And Midlife Trucker channel member talking about email. One thing to consider is setting up rules in your email, such as Outlook. It can direct the emails where you want them. Well, I've already got it under control. Everybody's pretty good at emailing the right email. There's some of them I no longer use, that, like the old Trucker Todd one before we got the website. Occasionally I still get an email there, and I was planning to close it out and just had never done it because I still get some stuff there. I've got some stuff saved in folders there. But as far as the ones people publicly know about, I only have the one, Todd at truckertodd.net. And then there's only the one for Scott, safety at srologistics.com. And then there's the one for Skyhook Trucker to order the tuggers. Midlife Trucker channel member loves Pilot TA and Flying J have always been travel centers. It's even in TA's name. Loves and Pilot were established as car fuel stations and added truck services later. Okay. Midlife Trucker channel member Petro TA makes 27 cents per gallon on fuel. They sell 500,000 gallons per quarter. Well, I'm not going to debate you on this, but there's no way that can be true. And the reason I know that is oftentimes I receive a larger discount than 27 cents per gallon. So, in order for what you're saying to be true, TA Petro would be having to sell fuel at a loss to me. And I doubt real seriously they're doing that. Now, to use some car terms here, what they may be doing is inserting a pack in there. So, when I sold cars, and this was back in the 90s when we did this, they had a pack in there, and we would add $500 to the cost of every car, and we would say, on the back end of the what we called the real cost of the car for utilities, building rent, things like that. And that may be like what Petro and TA does. They may actually have an actual gross profit of 60 cents a gallon, but they may, take a 30-cent pack for pump maintenance and for things like that. I don't know, but I know they're making more than 27 cents a gallon because I get a larger discount than that a lot of times. Eddie Moon, 10 months in with Swift owner operator OTR, averaging 2,500 miles weekly and cannot clear more than 1,300. Shaking my head. Yeah, it's tough. And when I was doing videos over there, I was averaging 2,500 a week. So, I mean, it's gone down a lot. And I don't know. It's just got to get better. Eddie Moon says it's $1.62 a mile. When I was there, it was on a sliding pay scale depending on length of haul. And I did a lot of loads in the 400 to 500 mile range because the rate was a little better. And one thing about Swift, their fuel surcharge was excellent. Excellent. It was the highest of any company that I've ever been associated with. So a lot of times, people get hung up on the rate over there. It was usually between, I think the sliding scale went from like 115 to 135 or 136. But then the fuel surcharge would kick it way up. And I mean, back when I was there, a lot of times it was right around $1.90 something, $2 a mile. And you say, well, that's not great. I'm getting 240 a mile on the spot market. Yeah, but you're giving 20 or 25% to the company. So you're really right down there with Swift rates. And they got enough freight that your deadhead is reduced. They've got a lot of drop and hook to make you more efficient. There's a lot of pros to Swift that some of the critics don't take into account. Their equipment's pretty well maintained. You don't spend a lot of time broke down. Trailers are in good shape. Things like that. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about them, honestly. Gary Cook, channel member, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois tolls hurt, but unfortunately, I use the Pennsylvania Turnpike a lot. I've used the Delaware Memorial Bridge. Oh, yeah, that PA Turnpike will kill you. Channel member Ramon, good night, Todd. Been working hard been working hard twice a week. Miami, Florida to Oxford, Alabama, running 3,100 miles a week. Hope you're doing good. Hello to all the members. Thank you, sir. Have a great night. I was just over in that area, so maybe we'll run into each other soon. Channel member Gary Cook, I'd like to find the air horn that when I pull the cord, it yells out, Trucker Todd. There you go. Well, you could, in the meantime, you could do it. You could give it a couple of hard tugs and go, Trucker Todd. It'd make you feel great, man. I think we should do that. We should have a time every week where everybody honks their air horn at the same time and yells, Trucker Todd! Channel member Skyhook Goodwin, Gary Cook. Miss Mother Trucker, what's going on, people? What about today? We're just talking about how rates have tanked, and one guy over at Swift said he's netting about 1,300 a week right now, and I was telling him, 6 months ago I was making like 2,500 a week over. Well, I guess it's been longer than that. About a year ago, I was making about 2,500 a week at Swift, and spot market rates are in the tank. I had a load that was $3,800 was where we was negotiating at, and somebody come in and underbid me at 1,200. Instead of going down to 36 or 3,700 and trying to make more money, they cut me in a third. And I was talking about these acronym brokers, the ones that are compiled of a few letters, that they're just they're putting loads out there and letting drivers eat each other alive to where we're hauling them for nothing. And I was saying that in a minute I may read some spot market rates from where I'm at and just show y'all how cutthroat it is right now. Eddie Moon, $1.19 plus fuel surcharge, average 40 cents. Man, it's gone down a lot, but fuel is starting to climb back up. So you may see that fuel surcharge climb again. I don't remember exactly what it was when I was at Swift, but it seems like it was in the 70s a lot of the time, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I was doing really well over there. I had a fuel efficient truck, and well, I did well enough to pay cash for a truck. So I definitely did well there. And to this day, I have some friends that work at Swift, and I still talk to some people occasionally in the office. Don't have any bad blood between us that I'm aware of. Gary Cook, channel member. Remember the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard? Yes, sir. I've always loved that car. And the Starsky and Hutch Gran Torino. Definitely some cool cars, and Knight Rider. That's the thing that this new generation don't get. We had some cool car shows when I was a kid. All right, we're caught up on the comments. We hadn't had that big a crowd tonight. Been hanging around in the 25 to 30 mark, so I don't know how much longer we'll go, but this is a great time to remind everybody to make sure you're subscribed. Check out the website, truckertodd.net. Email me at todd@truckertodd.net. And make sure you're subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms. Also, hit that join button. Find out about becoming a channel member. Click on the title of the video, and the description will drop down, and read about all the other things you want to know about this little get together. Yeah, we just had a great comment, so I'm going to quit rambling and read it. Miss Mother Trucker with the comment of the day so far. LOL, this generation doesn't even understand gender. Well, that's what worries me right now. They refer to the World War II generation as the greatest generation of all time, and how that when we went to war, everybody band together. Women started building automobiles and working in the factories, and building ammunition and stuff so the men could go overseas and fight. Can you imagine? There's a lot of talk about World War III right now because of what's going on with Israel and Iran and all that over there. Can you imagine if we got in a war now? We'd have trouble shipping guys over there because they couldn't even figure out what bathroom to go to. And man, I don't get it. Here we go. Gary Cook, channel member. What would you do if your truck started talking to you like Knight Rider car? Well, it kind of does now. Your GPS will talk to you. Um, I guess, I don't know. I better not touch that one. But yeah. Michael's here. He said he's driving, no text. All right, sir. I appreciate you listening in. That's it. They don't get it either. Well, and we've got a whole nother group of people in this country that don't realize just how good we get it. I believe that they're trying to sabotage the country. And I don't know if they feel guilty because we've got it better than most of the world, or if they've, each generation wants their kids to do better than they did. And I don't know if this generation just has had it so good and so cushy uh, that they don't know how the rest of the world lives. I mean, our government housing here, like the that poor people live in, income based housing, has plumbing, hot and cold water, heating, air conditioning, things that 75% of the world doesn't have. And they feel like they're roughing it if they don't have a big screen TV, if they don't have cable, now if they don't have Wi-Fi, and so it's just we need a little bit of a reality check here. The people my wife works with, they'll go to work and they'll just stand there, and she's like, "If it's slow, be doing something. Go clean something. See if somebody else needs help. Don't just stand there." And they'll pull out their phone and start texting in the middle of their shift. Miss Mother Trucker, I called those people the letter people. And it's insane. We have a country with open borders, literally open borders. You don't have to have a passport or anything to come into through California. They're given the medical. I don't even have medical. Yeah, that's the other thing that I've never understood. They will give a foreigner money to open a hotel, but if me and Miss Mother Trucker wanted to open a hotel, they wouldn't give us a penny. We'd have to apply for a small business loan. We'd have to go to a bank, something like that, and you know they'll pay for a foreigner to come here and go to college. But me and Miss Mother Trucker, if we wanted to go to college, we'd have to apply for financial aid. We'd have to qualify, and it just I wonder how great this country could be if we gave our own citizens the same benefits that we gave other countries, or if we treated our own citizens the same way we treat people that come here illegally. And we've got I guess this is a super chat. I still hadn't learned to tell the difference between a super chat and a super sticker. Robbie Ross, channel member. Cowboys locked up Mike Zimmer as the new defensive coordinator. That's a good signing. Yeah, I think so. Here's the problem with the Cowboys. They sign great people, but how much will Jerry Jones interfere? The biggest problems that the Cowboys have aren't Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott. The biggest problem the Dallas Cowboys have is Jerry Jones. He's got to be in the spotlight. He's got to be taking the credit. He needs a scapegoat for when things don't go well, and that's where McCarthy and Prescott come in. But definitely the biggest problem with the Cowboys is the owner. Gary Cook, channel member. What would we do without all this technology? I think we'd be lost. Yeah, that's you know, in high school, if you'd have told me one day that a large part of my income would be coming from talking to myself on a cell phone, I would have laughed. If you'd have told me, because back then the computer that we thought was high tech was an Apple IIe or a TI 99 4A, a far cry from what we have now in computers. If you'd have told me one day I was going to talk to one of those and make a decent part of my living out of that, I would have been blown away. I would have never thought that was possible. But so many things and opportunities have opened up due to technology the last couple of decades. Gary Cook, channel member. The government gives CDLs to foreigners. Yeah, and I want to clarify on that too. I'm not opposed to anybody wanting to come to this country and better their lives. There's a lot of great opportunities here. Lord knows we could use the CDLs here, we could use the drivers, but assimilate them by teaching them the rules and customs here, hygiene, things like that, driving, traffic laws, and make them keep their equipment up to specs. You know, if my truck has to be able to pass a DOT inspection, make their truck have to be able to pass a DOT inspection. There's there's too many of them driving around that are skirting the rules and doing their own thing, and it creates an unfair advantage. And it's not just foreign companies. We've got some American companies that are doing it as well. All right, I'm going to pull that off there so y'all can see the website. Give it a look around if you hadn't ever been there before. Let me give y'all a couple of minutes to type more comments, and if we don't get anything, I'll probably check out of here. Okay, it looks like it's dried up. We're down to 24. Got one more comment. We'll squeeze in. Gary Cook, channel member, how's the truck doing? The truck is running great. We're about 2 or 3 weeks away of having to do some maintenance, so getting ready for all of that. But yeah, it's running great. No complaints regarding the truck. So, all right, folks. Appreciate everybody coming in tonight. We'll see y'all on Thursday night. Hopefully, I can get some more videos out too, recorded videos for y'all. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you on the next